Hi guys, welcome back to Predator Games. It's Roy here again with another review for you. This one I've kind of mentioned before. We had, me and Danny had a video each of our favourite games on PS3, and I mentioned this one. Yeah, but I just thought I'd talk a little bit more about them, just because the brill, yeah. So we've got the Classics HD, one of the collections on the PS3. This is Ico. I apologise if I said that wrong. I always think I'm pronouncing this name wrong. Yeah, just go with it. And Shadow of the Colossus. So these were both originally on the PS2. We do have both in stock at the moment. Yeah. So we've got Ico, which is £10. Comes in these nice little cardboard cases as well. Just makes them a bit nicer than the standard plastic ones. And we've got Shadow of the Colossus as well for 15 quid. Sorry, yeah. So so what I'll do is we'll talk about each one. So the Classics HD collection, they were released on the PS3 of PS2 games. There's been a few of them. Another one of them, which is really well worth checking out, is the Sly games. The Sly Raccoonus games. My pronunciation in this video is not going well. But yeah, the Sly trilogy, they are platformers, cel-shaded graphics. They're brilliant, they're worth a look. I might speak about them again at some other point. So let's start with Ico. I played it originally on the PS2. It's a platforming game where it's also a kind of an escort mission as well. At the start of the game, there's a short cutscene where there's two masked guys who are transporting a young boy to an island where there's some form of castle or something like that. They take the young lad in there and they lock him into a weird sort of statue thing. And they just say sorry to him and they lock him in there, and it's for the safety of the village, and then they leave him. But there's kind of like an earthquake or something like that, and the statue that he's in, probably statue is the wrong term, that's all I can think of, ends up falling over and bursts open, and he comes out of it, and when he falls on the floor, because it's on a bit of a ledge up, he's knocked unconscious. He has a dream about running up a long stairwell up a long tower, and when he gets to the top there's a cage sort of hanging from the top in the middle with, when he first looks at the cage, some black sort of oily substance starts to leak out of it, and then a black figure slowly sort of crouches up a little bit, and it's a young girl and she's all black, and he sort of steps back in shock, but then as he does, a weird sort of black shadowy thing appears behind him in the wall, and some hands come out and grab him to pull him in, and then he wakes up. So you sort of traverse this chamber that you woke up in, you end up getting out of that, and you find yourself in a tower with a stairwell running up, which is the same one you've just dreamed about. But when you get to the top, in the cage is a young girl, but she's all white. It's kind of like there's some light on or something like that. There's no sign of the black shadowy thing or the black oily substance or anything. You release her from that, and the game just consists of you trying to find a way out for you both. It's an escort mission because you have to keep shouting her over, because to be honest, she's a bit useless. Yeah. But that's fine, we'll forgive the game for that, yeah. Sometimes the black shadowy creatures appear out of the ground, and they're desperate to grab this young girl and pull her into one of their shadowy portals or something like that, and you have to fight them. But the rest of the game is just, it's sort of light puzzles, platforming. As in most games, it's not perfect, it's showing its age a little bit now, but the HD remaster's great, the graphics look brilliant. Yeah, it is just a standard platformer, but there's really something about it. It's not terribly long, but it really, really sticks with you, and you end up caring about the characters in it. Yeah, it's just a really well-made game. Just as I say, there's something about it. What I'll do is I'll I'm going to score each game separately, yeah, and then just maybe a score at the end, just to make it really confusing for you. So, yeah, so the first game, Eco, I think I'll give it a 7. So it's not like mind-blowing, the gameplay itself, it's quite standard, but yeah, it sticks with you, which is always a good thing. I mean, as I said, the graphics are lovely. It's got sort of a minimalist soundtrack to it. But yeah, really, really good game. So the same guys who created that game also created Shadow of the Colossus, which is included on this collection as well, which is an incredibly high regarded game. I mean, Ico is memorable, but Shadow of the Colossus is just like, yeah, there's just, I don't know, yeah, it's not what you expect it to be either. Basically, start of the game. Sorry, you're a young man on your horse, and you've got a young lady on the horse with you, and she looks like she's dead or unconscious or something like that. And at the start, you ride across on the horse, obviously, one of the longest bridges I've ever seen, yeah, and it sort of takes you to this strange land where there's mountains and a lot of greenery and forests and that sort of thing, and there's a big structure in the middle of it which looks like another castle or cathedral, something like that, and you ride in there, and there's a plinth in there, and you lay the young girl on there, and all around the inside of this building are statues of creatures. So it turns out that you want to save this young girl, and to do that you have to kill the creature that is linked up to the statue that's in the structure. So you have to travel to each one, use your sword, and you sort of refract the light, and it points you where to go. The very first one is this dude. There's some light platforming in it to get to the creature. Sometimes there's a bit of sort of puzzling, that sort of thing, nothing major. Basically, it's just a lot of boss battles where you jump onto the creature. The sense of scale it's incredible. It's really, really well done. The very first one, you have to climb up his body, and these weak spots on the top of his head. I'll try and hide my shiny bald head right there, and just you have to keep stabbing your sword into it until he dies. He collapses, he's dead, you sort of try to walk away, but then there's some sort of energy or something that comes from his body that strikes you, and it knocks you unconscious, and when you wake up you're back in the cathedral castle thing, and the statue that correlates with that colossi just explodes, and then you have to move on to the next one, and it's just basically a succession of boss battles, but it really, really sticks with you. Your feelings towards, I'm just going to call them monsters because it's easier. Your feelings towards the monsters that you're murdering, to be honest, changes, and that's all I'm going to say about it. It's an incredible piece of work. I mean, at the time, both games were sort of the whole like game and art thing, which I don't know, I'm still a little bit sceptical about that. I might talk about some other PS3 games which I think are more game art related than these two, but I can see why they said it. The graphics are amazing. There's also, I'm sure you all know, there was a remake on the PS4 of Shadow of the Colossus. It's incredibly well made. They put a lot of work into it. The soundtrack is just, I mean, it's all orchestral, but it's really memorable. And it really adds to the atmosphere of the game. In this HD remaster on the PS3, I've not done this because I ain't got a snazzy 3D TV. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of you do out there. But there's 3D. You can view the game in 3D, Shadow of Colossus. I don't know if that's for both of them. Probably is, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if that adds anything to it at all, which is a cool feature. They did that with a few games on the PS3. Another one that comes to mind is Puppeteer, which I will talk about at some point, which is definitely a hidden gem. Yeah. So Shadow of the Colossus. Yeah, I'll give it a 9 out of 10. It's it just really, it seems really weird the way I'm thinking of my words, but it's just an amazing game, and it's incredibly memorable, all of it. It's really well made, and the creators should be incredibly proud of it. They also created The Last Guardian on the PS4, which is the main reason I bought a PS4, yeah, because it was one of those games that everybody thought would never be released, and then there was that incredible E3, I'm sure you all remember it, where they announced that, and they also announced the remake of the Final Fantasy game, which is coming next month. Fingers crossed. I mean, it's a demo on PS4 now. But yeah, so for the entire collection, I mean, I've given Ico 7 and Shadow of the Colossus 9. It has to just be a 9 for both of them, just because it's a great collection, and it's £10. I was going to show you a bit of one of the games, but I mean, I've been yakking on for quite a while, haven't I? And there's not really. Let me just. So this is Ico. So I mean, let me just. So that's a young lady there. You shout her over a lot because she's a little bit useless. Look, she's coming now. She's just a bit wet sometimes. She just doesn't seem to want to do anything. So we've just pressed a lever that's brought these stairs up. So we'll run up these stairs. And she's probably not going to follow me because she's useless. But we'll give her a shout. Yeah, come on, love. I'm waiting. She coming? Yeah, she comes. Yeah, she just takes her time, does this one, yeah? So I'm not going to show you a huge amount of this, it's just a typical platform. Look, she's gone now as well. Where is she? Oh God, she's so useless. Let's go back and find her. She's probably been kidnapped by a monster now. Look, she's stood there. Come on, silly woman. Come on, come on. Fingers crossed she's going to follow me this time. Oh, there she is. So, I mean, there's a whole sense of scale with this one as well. Not as much as Shadow of the Colossus, but it's still a game that you should try. But just, yeah, just looks amazing. And just the scale, you're on this castle in the middle of nowhere. So yeah, that's all I'm going to show you. That was not really much point showing much more. So thank you for listening, and we'll see you again soon. Cheers.